Hello everybody. Bad Weather Freak one more time. Today it is October 22nd, 2025, and I have some information as the latest update of the National Hurricane Center regarding Tropical Storm Melissa. Now the information that you're going to see in this update is going to be 5 p.m. update, so fresh out of the oven if you want to say. But right now we have Tropical Storm Melissa basically just stagnant, not doing or moving a whole lot, as just like the previous video that I uploaded. Now, as of 5 p.m. update, it is moving west-northwest at 2 miles per hour. So again, it is just crawling and not moving a whole lot. Pressure is still at 1,000 millibars. So in other words, it has not intensified, and maximum sustained winds of 50 miles an hour. Now let's take a look at the wind probabilities. What you guys are seeing right there, it is a probability that Jamaica is going to be in the crosshairs as of right now. The very western tip of Haiti as well, but it all depends on how close it gets. That's how much effects that they're gonna get. But it is expected to affect the western part of Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba as we speak. Talking about the future. Now, if we zoom in and look at the cone, you guys can see more of a western and even further south location is expected according to the National Hurricane Center, and that's because it's just drifting. It's not. There's no strong currents right now that is going to push it or pull it, etc. So it's just being blocked by a high pressure system on the north, one on the west. So everything is looking like the trough or the cold front coming down this weekend in Florida is not expected to pull it. So in other words, it seems like the storm is too far south, and the actual cold front is not strong enough to actually pull it north. Now, on next week, so not this coming weekend, but next week, there is a second cold front expected to drop, and that is actually going to have a much stronger effect on Tropical Storm Melissa, which by then it should be a hurricane, potentially a major hurricane. Now, that particular cold front is definitely going to be stronger. It's expected to drop temperatures in Florida for the first time in the season into the 50s. So obviously it's going to be a more powerful and further south cold front or trough that is going to seem, everything's pointing out that is going to pick up and pull north Melissa. That if by that time it's going to be somewhere in the central to western Caribbean, just sitting there, basically moving very slow. Now, in my opinion, my biggest concern is the fact that, as you guys can see here, the National Hurricane Center is expecting this to be further south and west than anticipated. So remember, guys, the more south and west that it is, the bigger the chance that may actually, the closer it's going to get to Florida. We're not expecting any direct impacts on Florida, but it's going to move more, potentially something like that, and get more or make a landfall in central Cuba potentially. Now, there are some models that show more of a at this point it's too early to tell, but it's looking closer and closer to South Florida, like the Keys potentially. Again, too far out to tell. It all depends how far south and for primarily west Melissa goes. Now, let's take a look at the actual advisory, and the advisory is calling for let's see. So again, like I mentioned before, Melissa's moving very slowly. A slow 4-speed and gradual turn to the northwest and north-northwest is forecasted during the next couple of days, followed by a turn back westward by this weekend. On the forecast track, Melissa is expected to approach Jamaica and southwestern portion of Haiti later this week. So right now, maximum sustained winds are near 50 miles per hour with higher gusts. Some slow strengthening is forecast during the next few days, and Melissa could become a hurricane by Friday, with more substantial, that's the key, substantial intensification forecast by this weekend. The wind field is pretty large as well. It's actually creating tropical storm force winds 115 miles away from the center. So that's actually it's a large area. So now if we look at the discussion, it is expected now to reach peak of 130. I think it's definitely going to go beyond that, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to of course show you guys why. But let's take a look at the in-depth analysis. So like yesterday, Melissa structure has come unglued this afternoon, with a low-level circulation becoming exposed to the west of the bursting deep convection. Now, guys, remember that the longer it takes Melissa to intensify and organize, the more west it's going to continue to go. So it's trying just like yesterday, but there's a lot of wind shear still that is not, it's basically not helping. Not allowing Melissa to intensify. That's why it's still struggling. Now let's see here. Another air forecast and the first NOAA Hurricane Hunter mission will be in the storm this evening to provide more structural information. So the 11 p.m., potentially the 8 p.m., but I'm leaning more towards the 11 p.m. update. That's going to be a major, I feel like it may be a big change in the track. As they're going to have NOAA sampling the atmosphere. So, in other words, trying to see where's the trough to the north, where are the high pressure systems blocking it. And that's going to give us a better idea. And that input is going to I have a feeling it's going to probably create a decent amount of change in the forecast cone, but we'll have to see. Melissa has taken a short-term jog westward as it became exposed, but now appears to be resuming a very slow west-northwestward motion. The track recently remains similar to the previous forecast over the next 2 to 3 days. So let's see here. So dynamical models that show the storm becoming more vertically aligned and deep model that show the storm becoming more vertically aligned. I'm sorry, I just read that twice. But the GFS HWARF show Melissa turning north or northeast due to the westerly deep layer steering into a weakness induced by a broad upper level trough located over the Bahamas. However, models that show Melissa remaining more shallow and misaligned, like the European HAFS-A/HAFS-B, maintain a northwestward and northwestward component of the motion. Compared to this morning, the track guidance has shifted slower and further west, possibly due to the further west initial position. So the National Hurricane Track has been shifted westward, and it is also a little south after 60 hours, but remains further north and east of the European and HAFS models this cycle. So again, there is a lot of discrepancy in the models because we don't know what exactly this is going to do. But the National Hurricane Intensity Forecast was raised once again, showing Melissa becoming a hurricane in 72 hours, rapidly intensifying into a major hurricane by hour 96. So in a matter of roughly 24 hours, basically 24 hours, is expected to become a major hurricane. So rapidly intensification. And even says that with additional intensification likely thereafter. So in other words, it's going to continue to intensify. But it is worth noting it's under the latest HAFS-A/B and H-month forecast. Unfortunately, it is becoming increasingly likely. So it is increasingly likely that Melissa will become a large and dangerous hurricane by the end of the forecast period. So it is looking more and more likely that this is going to be the case. Now let's take a look at exactly what they're saying. So let's take a look at what is happening with Melissa in the satellite imagery. And again, if I zoom in, you can see that Melissa is basically not doing anything. It's just moving so slow that it's basically looking like it's just stationary. Now let's take a look at the updated spaghetti models. Spaghetti models, the majority of them still showing mostly a west in Cuba landfall instead of Haiti. Okay, so that's something. Now this is a kicker here. Obviously this will be catastrophic. I mean, you're talking about a hurricane with 195 mile per hour winds, or not, I should say, in this case. That's just insane. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it has potential to happen. And the reason for that is the shear that it has been making it worse for Melissa to intensify is expected to relax And also the dry air that has been affecting it as well is supposed to kind of become more moist. And also it's moving. The more west it goes, the warmer and deeper the warmer water layer is. So it's gonna have a lot more fuel to play with, in a sense, if you call it. But the fact that more and more models are showing a major hurricane, potentially a category 4 to 5 hurricane, again, something to pay attention to, especially if you guys are located in Jamaica. I would say the main focus, it will be Jamaica and Cuba. Far-fetched, it will be something like Florida, but I don't think it's gonna get that close to Florida. Nothing is indicating that. I could be wrong, of course. And once we'll know, we'll have a better chance or a better idea tonight if that's gonna happen or not. Now let's take a look at one more thing before I let you guys go. Let's look at the models. So let's take a look at the H-Wharf and the HAFS model. Now the H-Wharf again has it kind of struggling, then it starts intensifying, going north of Jamaica, and then making landfall in eastern Cuba. Okay, now this is with 940 pressure. Now the HAFS A, in the other hand, it has a pretty far south, just like the last video I posted, with pressures of 903. Now let's take a look at the HAFS B. The HAFS B by far has been the bulliest, if you want to call it, with pressures of 884, pretty far south of Jamaica. Just for context, I believe Hurricane Wilma was actually, it had pressures of 886. So 884 will be a record for the Atlantic Basin. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but there's a possibility that actually that may happen. But nevertheless, guys, I wanted to show you what's happening. I wanted to show you the possibilities. Take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of uncertainty. We'll definitely have a better idea tonight again, once we actually, again, the NOAA planes fly over, sample the atmosphere, and I'm expecting a change in the forecast guidance. Not necessarily. I would say, of course, intensity, but mostly the track. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe. Let's try to get this video viral. Let's try to, there's a lot of people that are gonna be on the way of this storm, like in Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti. Let's see if we can get this video to them. Of course, help the YouTube algorithm by creating a lot of activity, sharing, liking the video, watching it, so that way it can get out to more people that are in the path of this storm. And at the end of the day, that's the purpose of these videos, is to create awareness, not bring hype like some other channels, like I've mentioned before, but to actually bring attention to what may happen and to the people that actually may get affected. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.